Hi, Nancy. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Josephine. Charlene, you made it. Hi, Kate. Kate says hello to everyone. Hi, Laura. Hi, Andrea. How's the weather in North Carolina? Rainy night here. 42 degrees. Hi, Colin. Colin's a little friend of mine, Nancy's son. Thank you, Josephine. Hi, Sandy. Hello, Diane in Florida, in sunny Florida. Lucky. I think Nancy's in Florida too. Hi, Andrea. .68 and humid it is in North Carolina. Is that where you said you were? North Carolina. Hi, Patty. Hi, Judith. Okay, while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, I had a question that was presented to me today by one of my student mediums, and I would like to answer it now because it's asked many, many times, and I'm very adamant about the answer that I give. This person wanted to know if somebody had the ability to tell them who their spirit animal totem is. Hi, Dallas. No, they do not. It's a personal journey. It's a personal journey. That's why I always say, be very careful who you go to. Hi, Sherry. Be careful who you go to, because, you know, you'll see classes advertised as, you know, come and meet your angel, know who your guardian angel is, know who your spirit guide is. And I try to explain to people, it is a very personal journey that one has to take for themselves. The only way you can truly learn to be a true medium is by going into meditation, learning how to quiet the brain, the left brain, so to speak, and be a clear, open conduit to the world of spirit. Okay, and during that time, when the left brain quiets down, that's when your messages are clear from spirit. That's how we connect as true mediums. And it's the same way with anybody who does this work. Anybody who does this work, you have to really get to a place in your mind that you want to be passionate about this. You want to do it in the right way. So we have to be clear on that. So no, nobody has the ability to tell you who your angels are, who your spirit guides are, who your spirit animal totem is. We all have them, but it's a personal journey and it's done in private meditation. Okay. Any questions? Hi, Jillian. Hi, Georgia. My cousin Mary is here. Hi, Kendra. Maggie says that it is cold and freezing rain in Jonas, Pennsylvania. I know two of our sons are still there, and my grandchildren, they both drive, so I always check the weather. Sandy wants to know what kind of questions we can ask. Anything regarding the metaphysical. Yes, I am Gloria Jane Weichand. Yes. Hi, Reba. Okay, do our loved ones see us during personal times? No, they do not. They have no desire to see us during personal times. Our loved ones pull in when we need them to. They step in from the world of spirit when we need them to. Okay, when we think of them, when we miss them, if we're at a graduation or a wedding or an event or it's a holiday and we're missing them, they sense that if there's a love or blood connection, and they take the opportunity to step in to be with us. And when they do step in, we can often feel them. Sometimes we misinterpret the feeling because we feel emotional, and we don't understand that that's because our loved one that we were just thinking about stepped in to be with us, and that's what we're feeling. So they don't, but they have no desire. Personal times, private times, that's entirely different. So no, they do not see us during personal times. Tom wants to know, what is the significance or function of a spirit guide versus a spirit animal? Well, spirit guides, we all have, my belief is that we all have 5 spirit guides. 4 of them chose us at the time of conception to be with us during this lifetime that we're here in the physical sense. A joy guide, protector guide, doctor teacher guide, Dr. Chemist guide. The master guide is a higher vibrational energy. Usually that guide is depending on what religion you follow. If you're Catholic, it might be St. Joseph or Mother Mary. Many people say they have Jesus as their master guide. That guide can change as we go through life. It's a never ending journey. Start out as Catholic, then you're an atheist, and then you decide you want to follow Buddhism, and then you're Catholic again. So it's a never ending journey. And so that guide, that master guide, will change as we go through life. But the other 4 guides are with us. The animal totem, I always say how to select an animal totem or find out who your animal totem is, your main animal totem, because we can have many, is the animal that you are very, very attracted to. An animal that when you go to the zoo or you go someplace, that's the animal that you always want to seek out. For me, it's always bear. It's always been bear. And it's funny because no matter where I live, there's always a bear sighting. When we moved here to the Jersey Shore, I said to the couple across the street, we live in a development. We're about an hour, about a mile and a half from the ocean. We could walk to the ocean. It's that close. And I asked them, do you ever see a bear sighting at the Jersey Shore? And they said, never. There's never been a bear sighting. I've lived here all my life. This girl is in her 40s. She said, I've lived here all my life. The very next day in the front page of the paper, bear sighting at the Jersey Shore, and somebody took a picture of a bear in a tree. So they're everywhere. But for me, they seem to follow me. So for me, it's always bear. I've always been very inquisitive. I like bears. And I've just been always pulled to them. So for me, I always believed that was my spirit animal totem. And when I did a meditation, specifically setting the intention that I wanted to find this out, it was a bear, the bear energy that pulled in for me. So that's the way I suggest you do it. Just remember, when you meditate, you don't communicate with anyone who comes through. My belief is that animals have souls. So I do believe that we can communicate with our loving pets that have passed on the other side. We can. I often do readings where animals will step in. So that is very possible. They do have souls, and they are some of our greatest gifts from our creator. So absolutely, why wouldn't we be able to communicate with them? And because they don't really need words or language like we know it here, I am able to communicate, and so can anyone who sets the intention and wants to. You just have to remember not to communicate when they step in, because words come from the left brain, and again, we connect to spirit from the right side of the brain. It's soul to soul communication. So if there's something specific you want to know from a loved one that you want to communicate with, you always write it down in your journal. Always have a journal when you meditate. Put the date down, state your question on the journal, and then you put the journal aside and you do your meditation. After the meditation is over, that's when you write down everything that you received. Okay, so there really isn't a difference per se as far as a spirit animal totem. I feel that they're more protectors than anything else. Where our spiritual guides, our five main guides, have specific duties that they do. Like the joy guide will be with us when joy is hard to find or when we're experiencing joy. The protector guide, for me, it's a Native American Indian, very big with women, Native American Indians, and I feel that's my protector guide. And this guide will step in when when I need directions. If I'm lost, they say they're great protectors, especially for women. Doctor Teacher Guide is the guide that helps us on the spiritual journey as far as religions and, you know, the right way or the wrong way to go in life. And then the chemist is very big for anybody who has addictions of any type. Usually they step in very strongly for anybody who's suffering from a drug addiction or alcohol addiction or food addiction. They're very big, and that's when they really make their appearance very well known in our lives. So again, you can get to meet them by doing private meditation and setting the intention and asking them to step in. I am a very organized medium, and I know there are outstanding mediums who have guides, but they have no idea who they are. For me, because I'm organized, I actually have a biography on each one of my spirit guides. Um, my five main guides, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to know them. I wanted to know why they chose me. I wanted to know about them when they lived on the earth plane, because four of the guides had to have lived here at least once. They had to have at least one time where they lived in the physical sense on earth in order to be a guide. And these spirit guides chose not to reincarnate and come back. They chose to stay there and be a guide. So I like to know as much as I can, and it helps me with organization as well. So I have a very good working relationship with my guides, and I encourage my students to do the same. That's the way I teach. So I hope that answered your question. Let me see. I'm have to pull this down. And Georgia, who is a very good healer and medium in her own right. She asks, how do you keep your spirit people coming in one at a time? Is that something you set up beforehand with your spirit guides? Yes, Georgia, that's what you do. And we're going to actually get into spirit guides in a few weeks in my evidential mediumship certification course. Where Georgia is one of the mediums there. I can't call her a student medium because she's far from a student medium, but she is taking the certification class. And you have to, again, you're always in control. And that's one thing that I always encourage my students to understand. We are always in control on how they come in, where they stand. For me, it's left side is mother's side, right side is father's side. So if I'm doing a gallery and there's more than one person present, I've done galleries of 300 plus. So, for me, if mother energy starts to step in and goes to the right side of the person, I can say, oh, your mother just stepped in. Oh, your father, gentleman on the right side, this is your somebody, but it's one generation removed. So this is your grandfather on your father's side. Sibling might be right behind the person. So I have my own way of organization, and that helps me very much. So you can absolutely work with your guides and specify to them one at a time. And if you notice, Georgia, that's why I always do the roll call. When I do a meditation, I always call in the guides one at a time, because that's the way they work with me. So again, you're always in control. That's how it works. Let me see. Oh, Charlene, I'm so sorry. Charlene's ex-husband died of COVID. Easter morning, was this planned by his soul? This was planned by God. My belief is that, we all have a time to be born and a time to pass. I don't think it matters how a person passes. and I tell people, don't, especially parents who've lost children, don't do the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Don't do that, because it makes no sense. I believe we take that final breath when it's God's time to pass, period. It's all up to our Creator. And as far as we know, we could have chosen, to be born with the problems that we're born with, if we have any, and we understand our life journey. It's much bigger than anybody can really fully understand. But I do believe that God is in full control. And I do believe that many have choices. Like, I believe that, and you've heard me say this before, the mentally and physically handicapped are our greatest teachers. We really don't learn anything in life through the good things that we go through. We learn our greatest lessons in life. We grow spiritually when we go through difficult times, or our loved ones or friends go through difficult times. That's where we learn our greatest lessons. We learn compassion. We learn acceptance. We learn gratitude. We practice forgiveness. We learn so much from difficulties in life. So I believe that many can actually choose that. I'm sorry for your loss, Charlene. Um, Sandy wants to know why Cody comes to her in dreams. Why does Cody come to me in my dreams yet? Why doesn't he? Signs everywhere, but no visitation or dream. I think, Sandy, sometimes when we're in deep grief, we really block ourselves. We block ourselves. We prevented ourselves. And understand that when we get to the third realm of sleep, the soul actually steps out of the body. Remember, the heart can keep pumping, the lungs can keep working. The thing that gives us life in the physical sense is the soul. The soul encompasses our personality. So who we are here is who we will be there. And I will often say to my students, to my younger students, when the time comes that I pass, it's going to be very easy for you to recognize me, because I'm what you call an in-your-face personality. I'm a very strong personality. So because my personality is so strong, it's going to make it easier for people here who want to communicate with me to be able to communicate with me. Signs are going to be everywhere when I pass. So anybody who's watching this, if you're around when I pass, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I just believe that, Sandy, you've been with your son probably many, many, many times, but you don't remember it. The soul steps out of the body in the third realm of sleep. That's when the left brain really shuts down, and that's when we're free to step out and go to the next dimension, which is really right here. It's just to step out another dimension of here. And we visit with our loved ones, and we embrace them, and we walk with them, and we talk with them, and we'll hug them, and when it's time to come back, when that left brain begins to wake up, that's when the soul re-enters the body. And we might sometimes remember, if you wake up, here's the difference between a dream and a visitation. This is a good opportunity for me to explain that as well. When you dream about someone who's passed and you wake up, and upon opening up your eyes, you remember that you dreamt about this person. That was a true visitation. You were actually with that person. What really happened, you won't remember, because the left brain will cloud it. Okay, it will cloud it. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay. If you dream about someone that's passed and you don't remember when you wake up, but as the day goes on, you can say, oh, gee, I dreamt about my grandfather last night. That was just a dream. That's the difference. That's the difference. Okay. So, Sandy, set the intention before you go to sleep at night. Remember what I always say, everything in the metaphysical world is by intention. So just sit on the side of your bed and ask our Creator to please allow Cody to come through and help you to remember it. Okay. And I believe you will. But if you do private meditation, you might be able to do that on your own, without waiting to go into a dreamlike state to communicate with Cody. Okay, you just set the intention. There's a great meditation out there, and I have to send it to Pam. I forgot, I had a session with Pam today, and I forgot to, I told her I would send her, so I'll do that. Pam, if you're listening, I will do that as soon as I'm done with this broadcast tonight. It's called Guided Visual Meditation to Meet with a Loved One in Spirit. It's on YouTube, and it's excellent. It's excellent. And with guided visual meditation, it's just that you're taken on a journey, and you just close your eyes, and in your mind's eye, which is your third eye, you can envision everything that this person is saying. And then eventually they'll say, now your loved one from spirit will step in, and your loved one from spirit will step in. The hardest part about doing this work, for anybody who's a true medium, they'll understand this. The hardest part about doing this work is trusting and believing that you're really connecting with God and spirit. That's the hardest part of this work, okay? And the only way you can validate that for yourself is by bringing in real evidence. And that's why I call myself a spiritual evidential medium. I don't bring in stuff that you can find on the internet or you can find in an obituary. I bring in stuff that's really crazy stuff, maybe that only the person who comes to you for the reading and their loved one in spirit would be able to validate or understand. And sometimes they'll bring in spirit, will bring in information about something what happened to the loved one right before they came here for a reading. So I don't question what spirit brings me. It's just snippets and pieces of information that they bring me, and I just pass it through. So I always say to the people I'm reading, I can be wrong, but spirit is never wrong. And I just bring through and bring to you what spirit brings to me. So write it down, and you will be able to validate if you can't write at that moment. Usually before the reading is over, they're able to validate the information. Thank God and thanks spirit. Okay, let me see. Okay, Andrea said I have been trying to meditate, and it's hard for her to shut down her thoughts. That's why I always recommend guided visual meditation. It's very hard for somebody to just say, okay, I'm going to start meditating and meditate. You just can't do it. To just sit there and close your eyes, your mind is like, remember that left brain holds worry and fears and anxiety and thoughts and lists and lists and lists, and it goes on and on and on. So it's really hard to quiet that left brain on your own. So the only way I feel everybody when they start meditation should do guided visual meditation. And there are a million of them on YouTube. And some of them are very good, some of them aren't. You might have to listen to a few to decide which one is best for you or works for you. But the one I mentioned, the guided visual meditation to meet with a loved one in spirit, the background is all blue. So you should be able to pick it out. But that's the title. But it's excellent. But that's why you can't just quiet the left brain on your own. It's not that easy. Not that easy. So I hope that answers your question. Let me see. Your loved ones. Can your loved ones hear your thoughts? Well, it's soul to soul communication. So if that's your intention, that will be your intention. Okay, if your intention is that you're communicating with your loved one with your thoughts, I mean, our loved ones in spirit, they're busy. They live in another dimension, but they're busy. Their life didn't end when they passed, and their life really just began. I read a mother last night, and I explained to her that I said, your son keeps talking about education and it's so wonderful here and he can educate. And she said, my son was like a professional student. He was very smart, which the boy actually told me. He said, tell my mother I'm very smart. I'm very smart. And she laughed and she said, he is very smart, but we're much smarter. We're all very smart when we go to the other side. So he is continuing to educate on the other side. He's continuing his education. So we just don't, float around on a cloud over there. Life continues in a beautiful way without the worries and the fears and the anxieties. Whatever our love is here, we will have there. The Bible said there are many castles, and they tell me that they live in family units and there's homes and they live very comfortably in a very beautiful place. I always joke around and I say, I'm going to have my oceanfront home when I pass into the world of spirit. Now, we moved to the Jersey Shore a year and a half ago, and I'm only a mile and a half from the ocean. Okay, which I love. I love the ability to be able to walk there or get my car and drive there and be there in 5 minutes, feet in the sand and walk. Okay, but I don't have an oceanfront home. But that's okay, because I know when I go into the world of spirit, I will have my oceanfront home. I know I will. So I'm setting that intention now. My cousin Mary said, I always felt my spirit animal is a peacock. So there's a really good book. Mary, I don't know if I gave you this book or not, but it's called Animals Speak, and it was written by Ted Andrews, and that's a great book for anybody who has an interest in the animal realm. Ted Andrews was a brilliant medium, and his communication was so strong with the world of spirit. And in that book, you can look up the different meanings for the different animals and look up peacock. If you don't have that book, if I didn't give it to you, I'll have to order you one of those. I'll have to order it on my Amazon. We're on a first name basis. The guy comes here so much. Um, but it's called Animal Speak. So I will look that up and we'll go over that tomorrow because we talk about 20 times a day on the phone. So look it up. But that's what's so good about this book. You can look it up and find out what the meaning is. Now, for me, right off the top of my head, peacock is very colorful, very colorful. Wears many different coats, so to speak. And, my cousin Mary is very smart. So, and very colorful. So I think that could resonate for you, Mary. Joni Johnson, a childhood friend. She tuned in 8 minutes late. It's okay. You're not missing anything. You're here now. Hi, Robin. Kate recommends a book called Way of the Shaman by Michael Harner. Good way of explaining how to connect with our guides. Worked well for her. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Georgia. Okay, so Kendra says, put it this way, you're doing a chore. Out of the blue, you think of your grandmother who passed. It's her way of letting you know she's thinking of you. I am a medium and communicate daily. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Kendra. Or thank you, Kim. I'm sorry. It's Kim Feely. She's the one who's responding to Kendra. Let me see. Joni Stefanik. Hi, Joni. If a sign from a loved one, such as a cardinal, is seen by a person with you and tells you to look, is that meant for only the person that spotted it or for you as well? Anytime there's if you observe someone who is very affected by a sighting of a cardinal, that affects you. So I believe that was meant for you too. I always believe that they're signs from our loved ones. They're like little message. I always say it's like a hello from heaven. Now, of course, if you go to like feathers, they say feathers are a sign from the other side. Well, I live at the Jersey Shore. If you go to the beach, there's 1,000 seagulls. There's feathers everywhere. So if I walk on the beach and I find feathers, I'm not going to say, oh my God, Spirit sent this feather. No, that's just from all the seagulls on the beach. Okay, but if you get out of your car and you look down and there's a feather at your feet, or you find a feather in your home or a feather in your yard, and those are all signs from Spirit. Okay, those are signs from Spirit. So my belief is a cardinal. I just bought a cardinal at the store too, a fake one, of course, for my table because I love them and I know they're such a strong sign from Spirit. So I hope that answers your question, Joni. Robin, small children can see and hear Spirit. How can we keep this going for them? Adults usually shut this down. We want to keep this communication open. My toddler niece can see and hear the grandmother that she never met. Well, your niece, Robin, might be a crystal. She might just have a higher vibrational energy, and that will not shut down. But there's nothing we can do to help them continue to see. Usually from 2.5 to newborn to 2.5, they can see Spirit. The veil is very, very thin for them, so they're able to see and even communicate many with them. But as they start to grow from the age of 2.5 on, then the veil becomes a little thicker, so to speak, and it's not so easy for them to see them. However, with crystal children, that can stay longer, but it's nothing that you can force on them, or there isn't a common practice you can do to help them see better. It's something you just have to stay close to her because you're a medium yourself. So as you stay close to her, as she grows up, you'll be able to tell for yourself and answer questions that she might have. Okay, answer questions that she might have. You're welcome, Sandy. Oh, Reba said for years she wakes up between 3 and 3:30. Can that mean anything? Well, they say, I think somebody said here last week that they heard between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. the veil is the thinnest. I think the veil is very thin nighttime hours, wherever your nighttime is, whatever location you're in, because that's when the veil between worlds feels thinner because the earth is quiet. You know, at night when the animals quiet down, the cars stop, everything slows down, and we become tired. So we don't become so, we're, everything's quieting down, we're calming down, the left brain's calming down, and that's when the veil becomes thinner. So I don't think it's the strongest between those hours. I think it just feels stronger for us because everything quiets down. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Angela. Angela McGee, a wonderful, wonderful psychic detective. You can look her up, Angela McGee, McGhee. She's from England. Outstanding. She's a good one to follow. I always put it out there when I know of a good one to follow. Tom says, I will have dreams of my departed loved ones, but as soon as my conscious mind, that's the left brain, realizes I'm dreaming of her, I immediately wake up. Very frustrating. It is frustrating, Tom, but just like I said, set the intention. Set the intention. And, set the intention that you would like this person to stay in longer. You would like to be able to have more time. Or actually, when you wake up, Tom, that's a perfect time, keeping your eyes closed, to go into private meditation. Set the intention right then and there. Ask our Creator, please have this person step back in. And hopefully this loved one will. Sandy said she questions herself. It's when she's meditating. That's part of it. I always say stay humble. Always stay humble. It's when you do this work, it's very easy to let your ego take over. And ego is edging God out. And I have seen the best mediums fail. They were outstanding and they fail because their ego got too big. They want to be known, they want to be out there, and they want to have their own platform, and sometimes your platform can damage you. So you have to be careful. You have to stay humble. You have to stay humble. Hi, Gail. Miss you too. Robinette said, my cousin just lost her mom, and today is her mom's birthday. What signs can my cousin look for to know her mom is close by? Similarities, familiarities that she had with her mother. Um, you know, Sometimes even turning on the television and a show comes on or a movie comes on that was a movie that you watched with your mother, or you'll hear a song on the radio, or you'll open up a magazine and see a certain flower that was especially meaningful to your mother or to you. Signs can come in a million different ways. So for me to say these are the only way they connect, I've explained to you before, the strongest way for spirit to communicate with us is through electronics, because the soul is made of energy. So it's energy on energy. Okay. So it's really easy for them when they step in to blink a light, or blow a light out, or make a TV freeze up. The strongest thing that ever happened to the world of spirit was the cell phone. They can so manipulate the cell phone. They can turn them on. They can turn them off. They can freeze them up. I had a father once, a father and mother. They lost their son, and as he was getting ready to leave the center, because I always ask them to turn their cell phones off, his cell phone turned itself back on, and his son's name and full address showed, which was in his thing. Now, how does this happen? That can't be explained. It's from spirit. Nancy McGrath, who's one of my certified mediums, another outstanding medium. She's in Florida right now, but she's also in the Jersey Shore area, Nancy McGrath. She said, when we are having conversations at home, my door alarm goes off. This has occurred more than once. Can you advise if loved ones are validating they are with us during that time? The only way I could validate that is if you're thinking of someone. in particular in spirit, I would say, or the last person you were thinking about in spirit it would be a sign from that person. That would be my reasoning for that, or my explanation for that, Nancy. Hi, Michelle Badaracco. We met many years ago. She was my secretary, the best darn secretary I ever had. Wonderful. And her and her husband Joe and their children, we became family. Oh, Charlene asks, how long does it take for a suicide victim to heal on the other side? I'm glad you're asking this question, Charlene, because I actually did a reading the other night for a mother whose son committed suicide. And of course, she's doing the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. I should have done this. I could have done that. Why didn't I see this? And, is he suffering on the other side? Absolutely not. When a person gets to the point where they feel there's no other way for them to live in this world and they take their own life, that is not something that they go to the other side and need forgiveness for. If anything, my heart goes out to them even more, because they got to that state where they felt so alone and so lost. So certainly our Creator embraces and loves that person completely. There is no punishment on the other side. It doesn't take any longer for them to acclimate. If anything, they experience instant joy and relief. Now, I hope that, when anybody gets to that place, they can understand that there's always somewhere they can go for help. There's always someone who will help them. So I don't in any shape, way, or form say, if you're suffering, that's a good way out. And no, I'm not saying that at all, because we always have to remember that the people who are left behind suffer greatly. It's the most difficult of all passings for those left behind. So when you have your life review, if you are a person who took your own life, they do feel and understand and regret what happened to those they left behind. But certainly they are not punished, okay? And they certainly do experience instant joy and eternal life on the other side. So I hope that answers your question. Oh yeah, my sister Diane. I'll just briefly tell you the story. My sister lost two children. She's had very significant loss in her life, and she's just an incredibly strong girl. I'm very proud of the way she has handled life. Um, she lost her son, my nephew, at the age of 12. He was hit and killed by a car. And then she lost her daughter 2 weeks after she gave birth. Um, she passed from complications. And that was about 3 years ago now. And we were on, this was when I was still living in Pennsylvania, and my sister was with me. And we were sitting out on the deck, and we had a home, a very large home, and we could see 100 miles, and we had a lot of deck, and we were sitting on the upper deck looking over the views, which were beautiful. And a deer came out of the woods, which was very common, very common. And but this deer came and looked up at us, and I called the deer over. I said, come here, come here. And the deer walked over. And when I said, it's nice of you to visit with us, the deer actually bowed in response to what I was saying. He did that twice. It blew our minds. It blew our minds. But, I believe that deer, because we were talking about her son and her daughter that had passed, I believe that deer was a sign from them. I believe that was, like I described before, hello from heaven. So I absolutely believe that it was for my sister far more than me. And I said, you see, Diane, I said, this was them letting you know that they're always with you, always with you. Let me see. Adriana, Adrian or Adriana, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But you asked, do we work on the other side? Each of us have jobs. Well, I was told from Spirit many times that children that pass over will often be crossover guides. They choose to stay and cross other children over when they first pass over, because they They recognize the personality. It's joyful for them to be greeted by other children. So I think in the way of jobs, I don't think it's jobs like we have here, but I think more or less things that they enjoy doing, things that would bring them joy. And that would be joyful for children who are living on the other side, to help bring more children over into their family of children on the other side. So I think it works like that, but not regular jobs. Do loved ones, Katie asked, do loved ones who passed we dream about mean they are visiting us? Yes, they want, I always say, we work very hard as mediums, to make our communication stronger with the world of spirit. We try very hard. Prayer life has to be strong. Meditation life has to be strong. We work very hard. Spirit works 100 times harder to try to communicate with us. Their goal is to bring us comfort. Okay, they don't want us to be unhappy. They don't want us to be in deep grief. They want us to be happy again. They understand when we pass into the world of spirit, it's like a light bulb goes off in our head and we get it. Any question we ever had is answered, and we understand that was our journey. That was our journey. We don't have a right now to impede on our loved ones' journey who are still living on the earth side. We don't have a right to do that. This is their journey. They have to experience whatever it is. So when we go through tough times in life, our loved ones don't get upset. They don't worry about us. They get it. They understand this is our journey. But if there's a love or blood connection, they will pull their energy in to be around us, because we do have the ability, they tell us, of bringing in the healing modality of peace. And I have often explained this many times, but if you give somebody a painkiller, say a Percocet or morphine, say somebody has cancer and they're in a lot of pain, and you give them Percocet, you give them morphine, they're like this when they're in pain. And once that pain medication begins to work, the body becomes relaxed. So we go from this state to a calmer state. And when we go to the calmer state, the pain we're feeling, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, it's better, it's relieved. Okay, so it doesn't cure a cancer. Pain medication doesn't stop a cancer or cure a wound. It just brings that peace into our body. That's the ability we have when we pass into the world of spirit. When we step into this dimension to be, when we're in the world of spirit, and they step into this dimension to be with their loved ones left behind, they bring that healing peace. That's why I say to people, if you're missing someone that you love in spirit, and you're going about your day and you're doing okay, and all of a sudden it's like, I call it the wave comes over you, and all of a sudden it's like it hits you that this person is gone, and you begin to cry and you feel, you just miss them so much. And I explained to them, that's called the wave, and you're experiencing the wave because your loved one just stepped in, and you're not understanding you're missing this person because you're feeling this person close to you. So I say to people, when that time comes, that's when you find a seat, you sit down, hopefully you're at home, you sit down and you close your eyes and you relax, and you let that person step in. You see this person in your mind's eye, and you let them communicate to you. You let them speak to you. Okay, so so that's what I have always been taught and teach. So they visit with us in dreams. They visit with us when we're here. Bob Borchers. Hi, Bob. I'd like to get a psychic reading. Is there any way to tell if they are phony by what they ask before they have someone come through? I do not do psychic readings. As you know, I've said that many times, because a person can tell you anything you want to know about the future. Does not mean it's going to happen. This is $1 billion business, and most of the money is made off the psychics. I call them charlatans. It's the way it is. Now, if you are a true medium, then you also have the psychic ability, because all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are mediums. The way you can tell a true psychic is if they're able to bring in information that you can validate about something in the past or something that's going on presently in your life. That's the only way. It's the only way. I have very, very, very few recommendations of anybody that I would send anybody to for a psychic reading, Okay. I could recommend Angela McGee in England for strong psychic because she validates all of the information that she brings in. I've seen her work. So she's in England, and I'm sure she does phone readings. So I know that she's on here, Bob. So that's somebody. We live in a world where everything has to be on Zoom anyway. So she would be the only one at this time that I could really. Well, no, that's not true. I know a few. Dolores Rilho is good. Melanie McLean, both from the Jersey Shore. They're good. Um, they're good too. But again, they bring in evidence. It's all about the evidence. It's all about proving that you have true abilities. Hi, Kate. Kat, I'm sorry. Nataki says, what are the kind of ties, binds, or connections we can have with another person long distance? Is it possible for two people to be connected by spirit so much that they can feel each other's energies, emotions, words, etc.? Absolutely. How many times, I've called my sister and oh my God, I was just going to call you. Or my cousin would call me and I'll say to her, well, you must be psychic. I was just going to pick up the phone to call you. So yes, you can absolutely, if you're strongly connected, it's love or blood. And remember, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I'm connecting with you tonight, not because my heart's pumping and my lungs working. I mean, that helps, but that's not how I'm connecting with you. I'm connecting to you because it's soul to soul communication. So if we can connect soul to soul communication in the here and now, there's absolutely no reason why when somebody passes, we cannot continue to communicate soul to soul. The difference being there's the veil between worlds. So when you pass into the world of spirit, the veil is thicker. Now it's a little thinner for me because I'm older. I've done a lifetime of meditating and praying. I joke and I say I'm a holy person, but I do pray every day. I pray a lot and I meditate every day. Okay, so my vibrational energy is a little higher. But anybody can accomplish that. But you have to have a passion for it. You have to have a real passion for it. So I hope that answers your question, Bob. And I hope that answers your question, Nataki. Sherry said, my lights will blink often at night, and I really believe I know who it is. Do I go with my gut feeling? Absolutely. Go with your gut feeling. Absolutely. Because, I meditated before I did this session tonight. I just do. I meditate. I ask that, God and Spirit speak through me, and I say the right thing, and I bring comfort and peace to whoever, hears my words. So I set the intention that would happen for me. So I am what people would consider in a trance-like state. Now, for me, a trance-like state is what you see is what you get. Some people, it's always up to us how I bring the messages in. I choose to bring it in just like who I am. The way I'm talking to you tonight is the way I do my readings. I'm just real. I feel I don't need any extra drama. You don't need any extra drama. So I just like people to be comfortable, and I just say what I feel. So anybody can get to that trance-like state, and when you're in this state, you're very open. So when you're at night, Sherry, and your lights are blinking and should you go with your gut? Yes, because like I said, especially at night, things get quiet. Although spirit does not only come out at night. They do not only come out at night. But of course, all these people that only believe they do, like they asked me to go to this place, very well-known place, but they want me to go midnight, in the middle of the night, and with their special cameras and their special lightings, and I don't think so. I'll go there during the day, but it doesn't matter. Daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. Andrea is also a medium, certified medium. I have peace regarding my son Anthony. Truly miss him. There is a song called Fireworks. It was his last favorite song. When he is near, it starts to play wherever I am. That's a sign. Absolutely. Absolutely. Andrea wants to know, Andrea Rakos wants to know, that was Andrea Horan. This is Andrea Rakos wants to know, how and when did you realize that you had this power to read people and communicate with the other side? Thank you for the question, but I have no power. There's one being that has power, and that's God. That's our creator. So I never refer to this as a power. I have this gift, as you have a gift, Andrea. You just maybe aren't sure what your own gifts and abilities are when it comes to communicating with spirit. That might be. But this is a gift that I have, and I realized this when I was a very little girl. I can remember sitting with my grandmother, 4 or 5 years old, bringing information, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And she would say to me when it was over, "Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody." So, between parochial school that was teaching me to communicate with God, angels, and saints, and then when I would say to them, I saw my great grandmother, and they'd say, "Oh, don't say that. That's wrong." And yet they were teaching me to communicate. So, it's very confusing for me. And of course, when I was growing up, they didn't have teachers like myself or places where you could go. Nobody that I could talk to. I just knew I was different. Just knew I was different. Thank you, Brian. Diane Fulkerson said, as I am listening to you answering questions and giving advice, my salt lamp is turning on and off. So they're with you. They're absolutely with you. So whoever it is, it's whoever you've been thinking about. Kathleen, my printer had an error. My computer had an error and shut down during a work video call, and I had a call from my boss that she didn't make all happen in 10 minutes. Yeah, see, it's all electrical. Bob, tell Coach Ralph, that's my husband. He said hello. I sure will, Bob. I sure will. Kate wants to know where the soul is in the etheric body. We have two bodies. We have the physical body, which we see in front of us. We have the spiritual body. The spiritual body is the soul. The spiritual body encompasses all of the physical body, but the part of communication in the soul is in the right side of the brain. It's in the right side of the brain. It's like a little seed, I always say, in the right side of the brain. So it's soul to soul communication. But your soul fills up all of the physical body. So when we pass into the world of spirit, Kate, we just take one step out. Just one step out, and you're there, right here. And that's what I say to parents when they say to me, where did my son go? Where did my daughter go? I say, put your arm out. Now you're there. It's that simple. It's that easy. And we all see before we pass. We all see. We don't have to wait till we take that final breath. We all see. Kathleen also added, later that night, her house alarm chimed. Only problem is it was unplugged and battery was dead. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. Kat said, I've dreamt about my kids who passed, but sometimes can't remember the dream, only that my kids were in it. Does that mean they actually came to visit me? Yes. If when you woke up, as soon as you woke up, you remembered you dreamt about them, and Kat lost 2 children too, like my sister did. Yes, absolutely. That means that you were with them. You were absolutely with them. Maureen. Maureen says, I was horribly abused by my mother. I did not see her for many years and she passed 2 years ago. I pray and meditate a lot. And I've had dreams and felt her presence. It feels like she is sorry for the abuse. I never felt love from her as a human, but I do now. I'm sorry, Maureen. I'm sorry that you went through that difficult time with your mom. But please know that where your mother is now, she had her life review. That's the first thing we have. And in the life review, we're shown every positive thing we've done, and we're shown every negative thing that we've done. Even God doesn't judge us. We judge. That's the final thing when the first thing that happens when we pass, and the final recognition of what our words and actions did to hurt someone else or hurt ourselves. So your mother, I'm sure, is very, very sorry because she felt your hurt when she had her life review. And the reason why you think of her so often is because she's trying very hard, I'm sure, to let you know how much she loves you and how sorry she is. And I hope that you can find it in your heart. It sounds like you can, because it's healthier for you, better for you to forgive those who have hurt us, especially when they've passed, because they truly are sorry and do regret. anything that they did to cause us any pain with their words or with their actions. Hi, Mary Beth. Robin said, my cousin left her mom's side for just a few hours. While she was away, her mom passed. Her mom came to her home and sat at her dining room table. She knew she was not dreaming. Happens all the time. Oh, my cousin Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Okay, I have time for one more question. Anybody have a question? I don't think I missed any. Let me see. If I miss any, I know last week somebody wrote and said, you never answered my question, but she asked the question 2 days after this was live. So I didn't even know that she asked the question. So I think I answered all of your questions. Let me see. Do I believe in the evil eye? It's the question that came in during the week. Do I believe in the evil eye? Karen Cantor, hi, it's been so long. How are you? How are you? Karen and I spent a lot of time together in Lilydale. Great friend, great friend. No, I do not believe in the evil eye. I do not believe in anything like a curses. I know that's all garbage. It's not true. They're money makers. They make a lot of money. We're the evil eye, make a lot of money creating it and selling it, but it's not true. Nobody has the ability to put an evil eye on you. Nobody has the ability to put a curse on you. Nobody can bring any negative to you. The only person who can bring a curse to you or sadness to you is yourself by believing the garbage. It's just not true. It's just not. Believe me when I say God is in full control, and you're in full control. Positive attracts positive, and negative attracts negative. Okay. So, and as far as karma, do I believe in karma? I do believe that if a person puts out negative, that yes, it can come back to them because what you put out, you receive. But I'm not happy when I see people on Facebook say, or anywhere say, oh, let karma get them. Then you're wishing something bad on someone else. And I don't like that. So I just hand it over to God. I just hand it over to God. That's all. Okay. Oh, Diane, I'm sorry. Diane said that she lost twins very early in the pregnancy. She lost twins, and I was advised to name them, and I would advise you to name them. And what I would do, Diane, is I would go into private meditation and ask our Creator before you go into meditation to allow your twins to come forward, because certainly they've grown on the other side. So whatever age they would be, remember, we grow to the age of 33. That's what Spirit has always told me. If we're 5 years old when we pass, we will grow to be the age of 33. So I say to parents, continue to celebrate, have a cake for them every year, sing happy birthday. They will continue to grow on the other side. If you pass and you're older than the age of 33, like my father-in-law was 97, he actually died on his 97th birthday. He instantly went back to the age of 33, which Spirit tells me is the perfect age. It's when development stops of the body. And if you don't get it mentally and emotionally by the age of 33, you never will. Okay. And the aging process really begins after the age of from 33 on. Okay. That's what I've always been told by Spirit. So that's my belief. So, okay, everyone. I really enjoyed our time together tonight. Please, for anybody that wants to communicate with loved ones, you really can do this yourself. Just look up go to YouTube, type in guided visual meditation to meet with a loved one in spirit, and you'll be able to hear from them and see them yourself. Okay. So have a great week. I'll be back next Tuesday. There's my alarm. Okay, that's not for the end of this. That's pill time. Okay, because I have to take my pills. But anyway, have a beautiful week. And as always, I leave you in God's love and light. Take care, everyone.